Welcome back. On the line with us, Congressman Keith Ellison, the co-chair of deputy chair, of the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, and of course, brilliantly representing the 5th District of Minnesota. Congressman Ellison, welcome back to the program.
Hey, it's great to be back, man. And I just want to say thanks for having me on. I really love being in touch with your listeners and you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We only have a few minutes here until the hard break at the bottom of the hour, so not quite the time to pull up calls, but I'm curious what you think of what's going on in Washington, D.C., and what are the things that you think we should all be paying attention to, very careful attention to?
Well, now that the so-called skinny repeal has failed, they're going to swing right into tax reform. And you guessed it, they think rich people just don't have enough money and poor people have way too much money, so they're going to make proposals along those lines. That's going to be the name of the game. So I think that the thing to do is to be very clear that the kind of fight that we had to wage to protect health care, fight we need to wage in the short term to protect the budget. Now, always keep in mind that the whole fight about health care wasn't really about health care. It was about positioning themselves with enough budget space to give massive tax cuts, right? So the fact that they can't do this do the health care repeal, has impinged upon their ability to do their tax cuts that they want to do. But they're not going to stop, right? And they're prepared to cut Meals on Wheels, the Appalachia Regional Council, basic research, all kinds of programs. They are ready to slash and burn in order to be able to give rich people more money. They will trot out the old tried and true lame thing about if you give the rich folk and the big corps more money, they're going to use it to build plants and equipment and hire all the rest of us, peons, right? But it never works and it never does. And so it's important to keep that in mind. And so that's kind of what's on store. For all y'all folks who really want to stay right up to date or maybe one step ahead, start thinking so-called tax reform.
Yeah. I had a fellow call earlier and say, what about spending cuts? We need spending cuts. And I'm like, why?
Why do we need spending cuts? Now I will tell you this, though. Me and Bernie Sanders have had this piece of legislation called the In Polluter Welfare Act.
Ah, that's great. That's great.
And the In Polluter Welfare Act basically identifies about $110 billion worth of tax giveaways to big polluters.
Oh, that's great.
Well, you want to talk about tax cuts? Let's start here.
Amen. Congressman Ellison, thanks so much for being with us today.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
We'll be back with your calls right after this.